Good morning, guys. It's Laurel checking in from my little smart car. Sometimes I like to come out and record these out here. And the reason I'm making this video is I want to give you guys a play-by-play, real, authentic look of what's going on in my life and my journey with Dr. Joe. And yesterday, we actually had a kind of a moment of reckoning, like a really scary conversation with our CPA. And the conversation basically was about a large amount of back taxes we owe. And I'm talking like 5 figures of back taxes. And, you know, we're very well aware of the ramifications of not paying taxes. The reason we haven't in the past is because we've needed every cent we can to get our businesses on the ground, get clients, operating capital. We didn't have it when we started our businesses. So kind of in the back of our mind, we've known that we're going to have to face the music eventually. And we had this conversation, and it was very daunting. And I feel like definitely the old me would have just been in the depths of despair. And my husband and I, after the conversation, we contemplated different options, right? So we're not choosing them, but we wanted to kind of lay everything on the table. And one of the options was me going through personal bankruptcy, which that's fine. I'm not a person who buys much on credit. I'm not, above that. The other option was me going back in the W-2 world. And I really don't want to go somewhere and work for a salary. I will if I have to. I did it for years, but I don't want to because I relish the freedom that being self-employed and being a business owner gives me. I relish the ability to come out and make these videos as I please and to really be able to work on my spiritual journey. And if I want to meditate 2 or 3 times a day, great. And I also feel like having businesses sort of opens up the door for the divine to enter in through maybe more options. You can have a new contract come up. You can have a brand new client. It's when you're a business owner, it's definitely more exposure. You're kind of out to the wild, sort of on your own, but it's also way more possibilities than the life I experienced when I was just, collecting a paycheck. It was a steady paycheck, which was nice. I had benefits, which was nice, but I just felt like so regimented and constricted, and there's nothing wrong with that life, of course, and I understand why people do it. It's a great way to build credit and to save, but for me, it just felt so constricting. And while I would do it if I had to, if it came to us not being able to pay our mortgage or our taxes, I would do it for sure. But it feels like a step in the wrong direction. Like my second energy center, my gut, doesn't push me in that direction. So the third option we discussed was selling our little smart car. And I love this vehicle. I just love it. It's so fun, and it's been part of our life for several years now. It was the first vehicle we bought after I left my old salary job where I was getting sick, actually, and I talk about it in the video I'm going to link up here. It was one of my first few videos. I was just so stressed in that world. It's an engineering consulting. It's a very stressful world. You work 60, 70-hour weeks. You can't control your schedule. You can't have any kind of regimens. And I love engineering, but I was not happy with the setting in which I was doing it. And I'm much more happier doing it on my own now as a small business owner. But anyway, this car has a lot of meaning for us. It has a lot of sentimental value, but I also understand that it's an object. It's not everything. And I also understand that I'm an accountable adult and I have to face the music. And selling this car doesn't feel wrong. It actually feels right in my gut. It feels like a difficult decision, but a right decision. So that's what I'm going to be working on the next couple days, is just cleaning up this car, getting to sell it, because we, right now, to be honest with you, we are really struggling this month, and I'm so grateful because I came to my father and asked him for money, and it was shortly after the last video I recorded. And when I went to ask him for money, a lot of my life I've kind of come in the position of like groveling. I've come in the position of victim. So I'll come in and be like, Dad, you won't believe what happened, this happened, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes he could help me and sometimes he couldn't. And it's not for lack of love. It's just that we don't come from a lot of money. And so sometimes I really would come in my hour of need. He just couldn't help me. So this time I came to him and I was going to ask him for $1,000, which is a lot for us. And I've never asked him for that much, like in one setting. He did help us buy the vehicle, but for bills and stuff, I've never asked him for that much. And so I kind of sat before I made the call, right after I made the last video, and I inhaled and I just felt worthiness. And I told myself that I was worthy and that if Dad can't help me, it's not because I'm unworthy. That's something that, if you guys have been following, I've been working on 2 things, primarily in my meditation. A, abundance, right, which is the opposite of feeling lack. And then B, worthiness, which is the opposite of unworthiness, which I've struggled for years and years and years. And there's a host of issues why, but I won't even go into them because that's not me anymore. That's not my identity. That's my past. So I called my dad and I asked him, I said, Dad, we're really in a pickle. We don't know how our mortgage is 2 months behind. We have a ton of bills. We don't know how we're going to pay them. We don't know how we're going to buy groceries. And, I need anywhere from $500 to $1,000. And he gladly was like, yep, I'll send you $1,000, no problem. Like, he was very generous about it. And it made me feel worthy, and it made me feel just moved and grateful that he was able to help. So he did. He helped us on that. But we still have the rest of the month to get through. It's, October 3rd. It's October 3rd. So we have a ways yet, and we have more bills to pay. And I don't want to go back to Dad and ask for more money. I feel like he's been generous enough. My gut tells me that's not the right way to go. So I'm going to sell this vehicle. And that's, part of an old chapter. And thankfully, I feel like we manifested a new vehicle, new for us, several months ago. And I talk about that in this video. And because of that, we can sell this vehicle, which we bought cash. We can actually make, a decent amount of money, enough to get us through the month and into next month. And I feel at peace. I feel confident. I feel calm. I feel like if we can make it through October, that's going to give us definitely enough time to have some new projects come up. There are a couple things on the docket already that may launch anytime soon, and that'll bring us through the remainder of the year. And we're actually going to start, being better at paying our taxes and being more disciplined financially. And I think that's part of embodying the abundant person, because abundant people don't have, well, sometimes they do, but I think of an abundant person as generally having good practices and not having bad financial practices, not getting behind the ball on taxes, not, taking out cash advances all the time. And I think part of embodying the abundant person is not partaking in those, not foolish, but unwise decisions. And I understand that we had to, because in a lot of cases we didn't have any other way to have money, but I'm going to try my best to sell this car, generate the capital to get us through the month, and then we're going to try our best to be more disciplined with our spending and to actually embody an abundant life. So I just wanted to share this video just kind of to talk and check in and let you guys know that we're definitely not around the corner financially. A lot of people in Dr. Joe's videos work on healing the body, healing physical ailments. And I think for me, the biggest thing I'm looking to see out of this meditation is financial healing. We need financial healing, because sometimes we look up and it's like we're looking at Mount Everest, which just feels like this mountain that can't be moved. And, as Jesus says, faith can move a mountain, right? And I believe that if I continue with this work, despite what I'm feeling right now, despite selling the car, despite putting quarters together to buy groceries, I really do think that it's working. And I think that we will manifest abundance in the form of, like Dr. Joe says, opportunities, possibilities, new projects, new clients, good financial practices. I mean, this conversation with our accountant was actually a good thing, because it kind of set us on the right path financially and acting like people who are financially prudent and abundant. So I think old me would be really petrified right now, and new me is moving beyond that feeling and just moving into hope and abundance and possibility and strength and empowerment and worthiness and encouragement. So I appreciate you guys following my journey, and I will keep everyone updated.